Hi, I'm Austin Wilson
I'm Josh Robb.
with Hixon Zuercher Capital Management, and we are here to provide you an economic update in the month of April, looking back at the month of March. So, to start it off, the S&P 500, much better performance in the month of March than it was in the month of April. So, S&P was up 3.71%. The NASDAQ was up 3.48%. The Dow, 249. Small caps even eked out a gain, 1.24%. Emerging markets were still under a bit of pressure. They were down 2.22%, and international stocks still up another percent. So overall, a much better month in March than it was in February.
All right. And in animal news, because that's what follows up the stock market,
of course,
usually.
Naturally.
There was a flamingo.
Yes,
there was a flamingo spotted. Now, that's not a big deal. There's wild flamingos around. But the thing about this flamingo.
Where?
It was down in Louisiana.
Oh.
But the reason why this is special is this flamingo escaped from a Kansas zoo 17 years ago and has just been living the life, just flying around. It's the flamingo's number is number 492 because they tagged it, and so that's how they recognize it. It still had the tag on its leg. But there was a storm blew in, and that caused damage to the zoo, which they escaped because they had yet to clip the wings, so it just flew away.
Wow.
And to escape, this one they've seen, and it's been all over the place. They spotted it in Louisiana, Wisconsin, Texas. I mean, it's all over the place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 17 years it's been flying around.
Did you know that flamingos get their pink color because they eat a lot of shrimp?
That's right. It's like
and
their diet.
If it's in Louisiana, it's living the dream.
Oh, it's loving
right
it
now.
Yes.
So that is pretty good. Next up in not animal-related news, inflation. Inflation's hot.
Yes.
Headline CPI for the month of February was up 7.9% year over year.
That's up.
That's up a lot. While core CPI, so taking out food and energy, it was still up 6.4% year over year. So this is the highest inflation we've seen in over 40 years and is affecting everything from food to fuel to goods and services and everything you buy.
Yep. So, if you're going to go hiking, especially in the trails out west, you need to prepare and be ready. A man from New York City was in Arizona, and he decided to do a trail, and he got stuck and had to call and have people come rescue him. And, that happens. Not a big deal.
I guess that would happen.
So happened that the very next day he decided to go back out again and got stuck again and had to call for help. So 2 consecutive days in a row, this guy was not prepared for the...
Did they not let him go out the third day?
They pretty much said stay in your hotel room.
Up third is about the Fed. So we've talked about the Federal Reserve before. So to rein in the inflation we just talked about, very hot inflation, the Federal Reserve hiked short-term interest rates from a target range of 0 to 25 basis points or 1/4% to 25 to 50 basis points or 1/4 to 0.5%. So a 1/4% interest rate increase for the first time since 2018. They are also going to be discussing the roll-off of assets on their balance sheet, known as quantitative tightening. And that will be at a coming meeting. So that's all we've got. We have air quotes right now on that one. And there's definitely going to be quite a few more interest rate hikes this year because a 1/4 point rate hike doesn't really put a dent in 7.9% inflation.
Yep. Major League Baseball, they were in negotiations.
They were locked out.
They were as a lockout, but they're back at it. But they threw this idea out, this pitch. Pitch, you like that? This idea of a home run derby X. And it's this idea of promoting baseball more globally and all around. But the idea is it's kind of like the home run derby, but to the extreme. That's where the X comes in, I guess. But you have a elevated pitching box and batter's box, and then you're taking like former players. So there's like a team you put together, and they're going to take like the 4 early teams, so the Cubs and the Yankees and the Mets, I think. But the idea is you have outfielders, so they can get points by catching the ones that fall short. There's targets. If you hit certain ones, you get bonus points. So they're trying to add this kind of new appeal, and they're just going to be doing kind of a tour of this around to promote baseball, which is interesting.
Do you remember the height of the home run derby? It was in the 90s?
Yes.
Was it Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire,
Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. That was the dream team.
Oh, yeah.
Right there. Yep. So if I was to bring back older players, those are the ones.
Those are the ones
right there. All right. Fourth, we had to talk about it.
Yes.
The infamous 2-10 yield curve has inverted.
Oh, boy.
Do you know what that means? I'm going to explain it.
Yes.
Here's what that means. So for the first time since 2019, bond traders have been selling short-term bonds, which sends yields up. So the yield of the short-term 2-year Treasury has eclipsed the yield of the 10-year Treasury.
Yeah, okay.
And what that means is that typically short-term bond offerings are unattractive because of inflation, because of the Fed hiking rates, all of that stuff going on. And this has always preceded a recession in the future.
The inversion.
The inversion has. Now, the caveat being that there's always a recession in the future, so of course that is happening. But actually, historically speaking, it's been over a couple years out. Within a couple years out, typically there has been some sort of recessionary impact. So that's why people are paying attention to the 2 and 10 yield curve, which just inverted.
All right, interesting. There was an auction recently, and the first Marvel comic book sold. There's only a handful of these copies, but issue
From
number one,
Stan Lee's
Marvel Comics number
1,
sold for $2.4 million. So if anybody has some comics, go to your basement, dig those out, and it was in great condition. It's also pretty rare because on there it noted how much people got paid. So the illustrator got paid $25 to illustrate that cover, and now it sold for $2.5 million. So
bet he wants a little kickback. And fifth, we should probably mention the update on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Russia has been met with significantly more resistance than I think that they had anticipated. Talks continue. However, there is really no current... There's no deal being worked out that is currently in favor of both people getting what they want. So, currently, talks are going to continue until someone breaks, and right now we haven't really seen that, and there's still a lot of fighting going on, so we can all hope and pray that that works out in a very peaceful way eventually, and that not so many more lives are lost.
Yes. So I started with animal news. I'm going to end with an animal story.
You can't have too many.
So in Indianapolis, 17-year-old boy was walking through the park and noticed a cat stuck in a tree. Thought, I'm going to be a good Samaritan. I'm going to climb up there and get it. Well, he climbed 35 feet up into that tree, and he got stuck. And so they had to call the fire department to get the boy out of the tree, trying to rescue the cat. Well, they got the boy down. He was fine. No injuries or anything. Yeah. Cat was still up there. So the owner of the cat actually had to hire a service to come get that cat out of the tree.
Man, can't catch a break.
I know, right?
Well, Josh, that has been fascinating. Yes. And I hope that the yield curve inversion didn't put anyone to sleep.
That's right.
However, we are so thankful that you were here joining us with this video this month. Until next month, Josh and I are going to enjoy hanging out a little bit more, doing our thing. And we hope that you have a great April, because it is April now. And remember, nothing we talked about today is a recommendation, but if you have any questions about your financial situation, feel free to give us a call at 419-425-200.
All right, we will see you next month.
2400.
What did you say?
I said 200.
How many zeros? 2 zeros, but after a 4?
419-425-2400.
All right, we will see you next month.
Have a good one.
All right.
So, I'll introduce.
Yep.
You'll introduce. I'll start.
Yep.
You'll go.
Yep.
Sound good? And then we'll wrap it up. Whoever goes last with the other person will wrap it up, which will be me.
Yep.
Cool. Do not disturb. I'm already on it. I can't. I want to start it like a podcast.
You will. Hello.
Whew.
Hi.
Right.
Just a straight hi.
Josh Robb and Austin Wilson work for Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. All opinions expressed by Josh, Austin, or any guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. This is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Hixon Zuercher Capital Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed. There is no guarantee that the statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Indices are not available for direct investment. Any investor who attempts to mimic the performance of an index would incur fees and expenses which would reduce returns. Securities investing involves risk, including the potential for loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful.